DHT is an amplifier. It's an amplifier for many different things. I wanted to do this video to really explain how I view DHT, how it works, how it's going to benefit you, because the benefits are across various different parts of your life. But you kind of have to be doing the foundations first, and then DHT amplifies it. So it's going to have massive improvements for your physique, which I know is obviously a huge motivator for a lot of you guys. Bedroom performance, size as well. Trust me, it's that kind of thing where you can't really talk about it publicly, but you kind of drop the hints. And socially, and also things like facial hair. I mean, I've just had a shave yesterday, so it's probably not the best time to be talking about facial hair, but DHT will give you the foundations for the raw materials for better facial hair. You've got a genetics component as well. Guys who are blonde and Swedish are going to have a harder time with this than guys who are from the Middle East, for example, but DHT is a big factor to think about. So just some examples off the top of my head. Chris Hemsworth is a blonde guy who grows a very dense stubble, and then there's it's a perfect example of how your hair color is hardly the bottom line. But to expand on this kind of point, because it's been said before that DHT is like testosterone on steroids, and it's true, but I think a lot of guys don't utilize this knowledge properly. They kind of know this, but they don't really know what that really means in terms of how that's really going to improve your life, whereas I've had quite a bit of experience with this now. Muscle gain is the obvious one, so you've got to be on a proper training program first. 3 days a week, absolute minimum. 4 or 5 is probably going to be better for most people. Intensity is huge. You've got to be training to failure semi-regularly. Things like drop sets, rest pause sets, anything to ramp up the intensity. Supersets, trisets. If you follow me on Instagram and you saw my stories from last weekend, quadruple drop sets. So very, very intense stuff. So training intensity comes first, and then the DHT will amplify your results. So that's one example. Another example is the bedroom performance stuff. Let me just dip under here. So when it comes to things like, well, DHT will directly improve your stamina and blood flow. It'll do those things directly. It's one of the biggest reasons guys have problems in this area. Testosterone is the sex hormone. You need a certain amount of DHT, you need a certain amount of estradiol. Most men have too much of the estradiol, which will get in the way of everything else. When it comes to size, I promise you, you've got to be gelking first or using pumps. And this YouTube channel and the stuff I talk about isn't all about that stuff, but I promise you this stuff works. And then if you've got the DHT as well, the DHT is going to amplify your results. This is why some guys get really good results, some guys get pretty average results, and not a huge amount of difference. So it's hormones. You've got to be training to see anything in the first place, but your hormones will amplify the results. Same thing with muscle gain. It's the same thing with the bedroom stuff. And then, and if you don't believe me, YouTube gelking. What is gelking? And there's videos where you can see in the comment section. These guys are all talking about their results. It's not spam. It's not bots. These are real people. If you disbelieve me. So that's another thing. A third angle is facial hair. A lot of guys can't grow good facial hair. improving your DHT isn't just going to instantly grow this super thick beard, but it gives you the foundations. So if you get like a derma roller pen or micro needler or whatever, and you properly rub it all over where you want to grow new hair, that's the first thing. And do that like twice a week, maybe once a week at the start, just to make sure your skin's all good. Then things like minoxidil, I am not 100% sure if it's ideal for testosterone, but that's a maybe. It definitely works for growing new hair follicles. That's minoxidil. You're better off with the spray where it's just on the skin rather than tablets. Tablets will get more systemic. And then you've got things like castor oil, various different types of oils, and serums that can speed up the growth of the hair. All of these things are important, but all of them become more powerful when you've got the right hormones set up in the first place. If you've got no DHT or very little DHT, you're going to have a hard time growing facial hair at all. This is why some guys have that wispy sort of facial hair that just makes you look worse. You'd be better clean shaven. It's lack of DHT every single time. And again, similar kind of thing in the gym. If you're training really, really hard and you just, 4 or 5 days a week, you don't seem to be making gains, you don't seem to be recovering. Oh, here's another point. DHT tends to control cortisol more easily. So if you're stressed out all the time, it could be a low DHT thing as well. Like, it all ties in together, like this big jigsaw puzzle you have to put together. But yeah, DHT will help you to recover faster. Your workouts won't be wasted. So you're there sweating away and just no muscles coming. And it's the same thing with the bedroom performance stuff. Your gelking sessions aren't going to waste. They're being put to use. So a good way to look at DHT is, if you were to start gelking, if you're assuming you're not already, if you were to start using a micro needler and various oils on your facial hair, if you were to start, hopefully you're already lifting, but if you're on maybe a slightly higher intensity program, 4 or 5 days a week, all 3 of these activities are going to be amplified when you have 80 nanograms per deciliter of DHT, as opposed to what the average guy has, like 30, 40 if he's lucky. So that's how I view DHT. If you apply it across these 3 areas, like the way you look and bedroom performance and also socially, it will change your life. So that's it. And I've said before that the goal is 80 to 100 nanograms per deciliter DHT. It's roughly like 10% of the total testosterone measured in nanograms per deciliter. This is it's a great goal to have. Your life will improve. So definitely consider this. If you haven't watched the 10 testosterone non-negotiables in 2025 video, check it out here. It's very comprehensive. Follow the advice in there. You will have higher testosterone by the end of the year.